"You don't deserve my grandfather's money," my father said, watching my diploma burn. I smiled and left. At the lawyer's office next week, they discovered why I'd been so calm. I should explain something first. In my family, there were two types of children, the investment and the afterthought. My older brother Daniel was the investment. Private lacrosse coaches at 12, SAT tutors at 15, a BMW on his 16th birthday, with a bow so big the neighbors came outside to watch. Me? I got his hand-me-down textbooks and a savings account my parents drained when I was 9 to pay for his hockey camp. I always came second to them. When Grandpa Joe noticed, he didn't say anything. He just started showing up. Every Thursday after school, he'd take me for pie at this little diner off Route 9. He'd ask about my grades, my teachers, which colleges I was researching. When I got into engineering school on a full scholarship, he cried. My parents didn't come to the acceptance dinner. Daniel had a networking event. Grandpa passed 8 months ago, lung cancer. He held my hand in that hospital room and said something I didn't understand at the time. He said, "Don't react when they show you who they are. Just watch. The paperwork is already done." I thought he was confused from the morphine. At the funeral, my father pulled me aside before the service even started. He told me Grandpa left me a small trust. Nothing crazy. Maybe $60,000. He said the right thing to do would be signing it over to Daniel, who was launching a tech startup and needed seed money. I asked to see the will first. He said that wasn't necessary. I should have known then. For months, I kept my head down. Finished my senior year. Landed a job at a civil engineering firm starting at $74,000. Not tech startup money, but real money. Mine. Then came graduation weekend. My parents threw a backyard party. 50 guests. Catered. My mother even hired a bartender. I thought maybe something had shifted. Maybe they finally saw me. That's when my father walked outside holding my diploma. The actual framed diploma I'd hung in my childhood bedroom that morning. He announced to everyone that I'd been hiding my inheritance from the family. That Grandpa had made a mistake leaving me anything at all. That I needed to do the right thing tonight. I said no. He flicked his lighter. For about 30 seconds, nobody moved. The caterers froze mid-pour. My Aunt Helen set down her wine glass so slowly it didn't make a sound. Daniel was already filming. The frame caught first, then the paper. 4 years of 4 a.m. study sessions. $80,000 in avoided debt. A future I built with my own hands. I stood there watching it curl and blacken. Everything I'd worked for turning to ash. My mother watched like it was mildly inconvenient. Like he'd burned a receipt. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just looked at my father's red face, my brother's smirking grin, my mother's lipstick-perfect indifference, and I said, "Okay, I'll see you at the lawyer's office Monday." Nobody understood why I was smiling. The truth is, Grandpa knew exactly who his son had become. 2 years before he died, he hired a separate attorney, not the family lawyer, someone completely outside their circle. He restructured everything. The trust my father mentioned, that was a decoy, a test, $62,000 in a revocable account they could see but never touch. The real inheritance was in a separate filing. The house my parents had lived in for 31 years was never in their name. It was in Grandpa's. Now, it was in mine. So was the lake house. So was the 44% stake in the family business my father had been running like it was already his. That Monday, the lawyer read the actual will out loud, every word. My father's face went from confused to gray in about 90 seconds. My mother kept whispering, "This isn't right, this isn't right," like repeating it would change the documents. Daniel tried to interrupt. The lawyer asked him to sit down or leave. When it was done, I stood, collected my copy of the papers, and looked at my father for the last time. "You raised me to survive on nothing," I said. "Congratulations, you were a great teacher." I walked out while he was still trying to speak. Grandpa always told me the same thing at that diner. He'd say, "The patient fox eats last, but she eats everything." Turns out he meant it literally.